point, my friends. What would I do if I could suddenly feel and to know once again that what I feel is real? I could cry, I could smile, I might lay back for a while. Tell me what would I do if I could
Good morning. Saddled up this morning. About to take y'all on a ride. Paul Laurence Dunbar, birthday today. If you're not familiar with Paul Laurence Dunbar, we wear the mask. We wear the mask. We wear the mask of gals and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This death we play the human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile. And a mouth of myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. That's Paul Laurence Dunbar this morning. Happy birthday. No covers, can't stop, won't stop. History lesson. Paul Laurence Dunbar. Parents born in slavery. Published his first poems at 16 years old. One of our famous poems. Hey, another story on Paul Laurence Dunbar. When I first started writing poetry in school, they gave me Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. That was the first poem I ever had to recite. It was years later I would learn about Langston Hughes and Paul Laurence Dunbar. That's why I keep pushing this history, y'all. We got to keep teaching these children about our past, because if we don't know our past, there's no way we're going to be able to work our future. This is your brother, No Covers, coming to you out of the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina, 365 days a year. Had an interesting day yesterday. The topics this morning is challenging leadership, and I just want to, in the few minutes that I have with you, I want you to hang in here with me this morning for a few minutes, because I'm gonna bridge something. Yesterday, I had the privilege of being invited to go with a group of young men to state capitol. And it's always a privilege to go back to the Light Manhood program. And that's because a program that we started linked years ago, a program that I used to be a part of. And it's always a privilege to go back there and see, especially Juan, see him come up in the ranks. And he's now the director of the program, having been once a student of the program. So that's always a pleasure, and went with him yesterday. But in every group, I told my good brother yesterday, sometimes when you step away from something, you get to look back at it with a different set of eyes. And it was a group of young men. And every time you get black males, anytime you get 8, 7, how many, it don't make a difference. Anytime you get us together, there's always going to be one that's the leader. Every time. The trick, if you all that's out there listening in the morning and want to know about mentoring kids and how to work the kids in school, and you teachers in school, you educators, get this out to them. If you want to figure out how to control your classroom, figure out who the leader is. If you want to figure out how to control a group of black males, figure out who the leader is. Don't control him, empower him, and here I say, don't control him, empower him, and then you have the bridge to operating with the rest of the group. But you must empower that young man that's the leader. Not control him, because he's not going to be controlled. Leaders can't be controlled. You can try, but you can't control a leader. He got his own mindset. So yesterday we happened to be sitting, and we went to the 1898 section of the museum. And of course, that's my favorite section. Wilmington on Fire. Chris Everett, thanks for making me a part of that. So we got around, and me and the director at the time we just basically took over the museum for a minute, because we from Wilmington. So here we are in Wilmington in the 1898 section. Hey, y'all folks come on in. We're going to tell y'all the history of Wilmington since we already from here. Cut the movie off. Listen to us. So we just took over and started talking. We had a few people standing around talking and listening to what we had to say about coming from Wilmington. We asked the brothers some direct questions about living in Wilmington, and we tried to help them understand the history of why we think and operate the way we operate in the city. A lot of history in 1898. One young man who was a leader have showed me from the tape from I got there this morning. This young man was a leader. In his conversation, we were talking, and he said something that shocked me. Well, I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook, a lot of stuff on YouTube, a lot of conspiracy stuff, but this one I hadn't heard before. And he said that George Washington was black, and said it pissed him off because all these years in school he never knew George Washington was black. I was like, now I've heard some stuff. Let's Google my phone. I haven't heard that one. I'm usually a historian buff. So I waited to see was anybody going to challenge him. All the brothers looked at him and nobody. He's a leader. Nobody stepped up and said anything. And I looked around at the other folks. Because he'd already established himself as a leader. And still nobody said anything. So I said, whoa, okay, learning experience. Let's just check something out here. So me always being a student, or always trying to do it experimental, let that one ride. So as I got the rest of the museum, I went to the other young men one-on-one, privately, and said, yo, did you think George Washington was black? No, man, George Washington white. I said, well, why you didn't say nothing? Man, you know what I'm talking about. I said, So each young man I went to, it was the same thing. They wouldn't challenge what they knew or thought to be untrue. They just let it ride. So, not to want to embarrass the man, I found a young man. Finally, later on that afternoon, we got the chance to be at another museum one-on-one. I said, let me give you a lesson, young man. I said, you're a good leader. I said, let me tell you something in private. One of the beauties I had being the minister of the Nation of Islam, when I was the minister, anything we said from the rostrum could be challenged. So anytime I said anything from the rostrum or from the speaker stand, if it was in error, the secretary of the mosque, who records everything you said, they would send a note. And the note would come up before you closed out in prayer. And before you close out, if the note said you had said anything in error, you had to go back and correct your mistake right then on site. You were not allowed to get away with that. And it taught me a valuable lesson. Brother Jabril used to always tell me, be careful who's in the audience. Sometimes you shoot out something, make sure you study your facts. So I checked him. I said, young man, George Washington wasn't black. He had a Moor. There was a Moor named John Hanson, who was a Moor, who was the first president of the United States. And I think you were getting that confused because at that particular time, it wasn't the United States, but John Hanson was the Moor, and he's credited with being the first president of the United States. And I think you're confusing that bit of history with the history of George Washington black. Now, George Washington had a lot of slaves, and he had some black children because he had a lot of slaves. But him being black, that one I haven't seen yet. Oh. You know what? I think that's correct. I think it was the Moor. I got that mixed up. I said, yeah, you gotta watch. I said, because when you're in an audience and you're speaking before that audience, always be careful what you say and check the facts and make sure they're facts. Now, I may come back later and find out George Washington was black, but as far as I know right now, he wasn't. I say that in challenging, I use that as a bridge. Because in our society today, let me show you how young people learn from us. We have leaders in our community that dead wrong. But because they have a large following, nobody says anything. They can say some of the dumbest things that you've ever heard in your life. They can go with some theories that I have, what? But because, here's how human nature works. Because they have a large following, you know the following most of the time are not really paying attention, are not really studying themselves. So the leaders comes out with something, especially from the Bible. Ooh, it's a good one. They come out with something and, that ain't how the story went. But everybody just lets it go because that person is the leader. And you know it's sitting in the cut that know better. You know better, but you know if you step up and challenge the leader, the folks gonna look at you like, you can't do that. You must do that. You must do that. We had a bunch of people go down in Jonestown and die because nobody was smart enough to rise up and say, Jim Jones, you nutty as a fruitcake. I'm not drinking that cyanide Kool-Aid. Nobody was smart enough to stop before they even got there and say, me giving you all my money don't make sense. I got bills to pay. Nobody was wise enough to step up to the plate because the leader had the crowd just waving and dancing. And nobody challenges the leadership because they don't want to take the assault from the people when they challenge new kids. I'm sorry, we know covers. I'm sorry. We'll take this assault. And if I'm wrong, I expect you to do the same to me. If you find me in error, I expect you to challenge me and make me correct what I said in error. Because no covers, no. If you say it out there in the public, if you lead our community down the wrong direction, if you say it in front of city council asking for money that you're not going to spend correctly, we're going to say something. We're going to let it be known that you're in error. And hope and pray that you're willing to accept the criticism and correct your error. Because if you show me something that I'm in error, I'm going to take it to heart and I'm going to work on and try to better myself and correct my error behavior. That's how we have to work as a community. We have to work that way because we have to challenge the leadership because the young folks are learning from us. They won't step up and challenge because they see us sitting back, not challenging Sunday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning worship service. Not stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, bro, that's dead wrong. I posted something the other day. I went on an interview with a sister. And I'm sitting here, y'all know my background. And she tells me, she said, I don't think, now I'm looking in the scripture. She doesn't think that my beard or a man wearing hair is godly. I said, well, sis, in Leviticus, it said that you should wear a beard and it's okay. I said, but you use the scripture right above that to not take blood transfusion because you say you shouldn't eat blood. Stop being picky with the scripture. Which part of it you going to use and which part you going to throw away? See, things can be twisted. Prime example, Mr. Trump. Now, y'all know I am about Donald Trump. Why is Donald Trump so popular? Because he got the people. Look at the fanfare. Look at how he's moving. Look at the masses of crowd. Every day he gets more and more and more. Some of the stuff he say, But you keep saying he can't win. I keep saying he will win. And the reason why I keep saying it, because 85% of the people are blind, deaf, and dumb and don't care. 85% of the people think tomorrow the tornado going to come and they're going to wake up and the air conditioning going to be the same, gas going to be the same, everything going to be okay. 85% of the people are not studying the scripture and don't see us written in this prophecy right now. 85% of the people are not even clueless to what's about to happen and the storm that's about to come. You keep tuning in to No Covers. You keep riding with us. We're going to keep waking you up because we're going to challenge leadership because we expect you to challenge us the same way, the identical same way. If you see us wrong, if you see us cutting the fool when we shouldn't, if you see us leading these young people around the wrong direction, you make sure you pick up that phone and say, hey, Daoud, you know what you said. Told me to challenge leadership. Check me. I'm sure gonna check you. Peace and blessings. It's your brother No Covers. Y'all have a nice, wonderful Friday. For you Muslims, it's Juma. I hope to see y'all at the mosque today, because I will be there. Doing my prayers, trying to get it back right. It's Ramadan time, y'all. Peace and blessings. Hey, I gotta put that disclaimer out there. You know that everything I just said, that's that other guy. It ain't me. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.